What? Oh no. Oh no. No! No!
Jacqui Briggs. This character has become a real problem for pro players at recent tournaments, specifically her upgraded variation, which oddly enough you likely haven't faced online because it can be tough to use in anything besides a perfect connection. However, offline, when lag is taken out of the equation, this can be a very strong variation. In fact, this variation is so strong that tons of pro players are spending day and night learning the matchup. But what exactly makes this variation so strong? Well, let's talk about it step by step, because there's a lot to cover here. So for starters, the damage is very nice. Here's a very basic combo with Jacqui Briggs, not even tough to do, and 31%. But you can actually do 3 of these uppercuts in one combo. It's a bit tougher, but when you pull it off, you get damage like this, which is still pretty darn nice, and as you can see, I'm doing it while talking, so it's not even that difficult. And then, just to make things even scarier, she can keep you standing the whole time, which means no breakaway for you. And while it does cost her 2 meters, keep in mind, it's still unbreakable damage. So in other words, if your life bar is around 30% and Jacqui touches you, you just get to die. Hashtag I missed the old combo breaker. And that's still not all for the damage, so Jacqui has this crushing blow right here, which can actually be comboed into, but in this variation it's even easier. You just super jump cancel, and then on the way down you do the kick, and you just combo into it from there, and it's very easy. In fact, here's an example. Once again, I'll do it while talking to you just to show you how easy it is. So in summary, Jacqui's damage is just really good in this variation, but she's not the most damaging character, so that's not the only reason why this build is super strong. So next up, let's talk about the pressure. Let's just go ahead and tell D'Vorah to block. She's going to block everything. So even if she does block me, I can still super jump cancel. And then while she's blocking, I can do the meter burn gunshot. Now on the way down, you actually can interrupt my jump ins. That is actually possible. But here's the thing. If your timing is even slightly off, I still get a full combo. And since Jacqui is airborne, the most you get is an anti-air combo, which isn't that great for a majority of the cast. So even though Jacqui is taking a bit of a risk every time she goes for this, it's actually a much bigger risk for the opponent, as they stand to lose a lot more health if they mistime that punish. And actually the meta game doesn't stop there, so let's say I'm playing Jacqui, and I know that you want to anti-air me on the way down. Well, I can just do it again. And because Jacqui keeps her feet tucked up like that, most characters can't even hit her after that. And that gunshot will catch you, and it's not going to lead to a combo, but it's a lot of hits done, so I can just keep my pressure going with Jacqui, get my plus frames, all that stuff, or just go for this and start the whole thing over again, and it's still another mind game. Now the good news is, if you predict this mix-up and you block that second gunshot that's meterless, it's actually quite punishable, so once again you get a full combo on Jacqui if you make the read. But the meta still doesn't stop. I can do that. I can just spin 2 bars and then do a regular one or do a jumping on the way down, and you keep having to guess. So that's why Jacqui is very scary. Not only is her combo damage very good, but she also has very good pressure and an air meta game. Once again, there are ways to punish her in certain situations, but Jacqui has an answer to every single one. So it's a lot like fighting Liu Kang in Variation 1. You can interrupt his string, but he can just do a low fireball. And you can block the low fireball, but what if he just finishes his string? It feels a lot like that, honestly. While there is an answer to all of these different situations, the timing can be quite difficult, and also Jacqui has an answer to every single punish you have. However, oddly enough, D'Vorah is a very good counter to most of these situations. From what I've tested, D'Vorah's down forward 2 can punish pretty much everything after her air gunshot. And Jacqui will also get counter hit if she's pressing any buttons, which she likely would be. She's either going for the gunshot or an elbow drop on the way down, and both of them will get beaten by D'Vorah's down forward 2. And this crushing blow leads to a crazy amount of damage. And even though the crushing blow is gone after that, D'Vorah can still say no to most of Jacqui's air game. Though of course there are still some mix-ups, so if I was playing Jacqui and I think D'Vorah is expecting the air gunshot and can counter pretty much everything after it, I can just not do it and run away. If I hold forward, I'll fly even further away, which is even tougher to punish. So even though D'Vorah seems like a pretty good counter pick against Jacqui, there's still a bit of a mind game there. Will she even go for the gunshot, or is she gonna jump away? And we're still not done, because on top of pressure, Jacqui also has some 50-50 mix-ups and also some ways to counter you for trying to punish her on the way in, and she does both of this with her ground smash. That's just how she does it. So this move hits low, and she can amplify it to hit low twice. It's not worth it most of the time, but it is an option that she has. and this actually does give her some 50-50, so that's an overhead right there, right? But if you're fast, you can super jump and then cancel it and get your low. So now it ends in a low. And if the opponent's not expecting that, they get a low. And then on top of that, instead of doing the gunshot, you could just do the low. And the player might not be expecting that, and the timing is completely different. And honestly, you could also do the meter burn gunshot into the low. They're expecting gunshot and then overhead, but you do gunshot into low. That's a very sneaky mix-up as well. So this ground smash gives Jacqui even more pressure tools and mix-ups, and even a 50-50 if the opponent's not looking out for it, so that's very scary. And perhaps best of all, this jump gives Jacqui a lot of mobility and far more answers to keep away than she's ever had before. Now thankfully the far version doesn't go very high, so it can still get beaten by some projectiles, and she still doesn't do super good against keep away, but she can still get over it and punish you for a full combo, or at the very least get a safe way in, so it's very good for that. But let's say you're expecting that. You're trying to bait the jump, and then you're gonna anti-air her. Well, once again, Jacqui can just go, nah, I'm gonna do the ground pound. This will either keep her safe from a distance and bait your punish, or if she spaces it correctly, it can actually avoid your uppercut and then punish you completely. So Jacqui still has answers even if you bait the jump. So as you can see, upgraded Jacqui is very strong. Now I do want to give you some tips in case you encounter her online, or maybe you're a very good player going to some tournaments soon and you want to know what you can do to beat this variation. So the good news is, once Jacqui runs out of meter, a lot of her options just go away, because the most she can do is the regular gunshot, and a smart player is not going to go for that, because if they do, it's super punishable on block. Once again, you get a full combo on them. So if you're fighting a Jacqui player and they're out of meter, here's what I want you to try and do and see if it works out for you. So I'm going to go ahead and take control of D'Vorah, and then have Jacqui do a very specific string into the jump cancel. And here's what I want you to try to do. So here I am taking control of Jacqui, just a very simple jump. Now I'm going to try and counter it. Jump back and then punch. That can be very good. Now I'm D'Vorah, so the best option would just be this, right? She has nothing to threaten me with. The most she gets is that gunshot, and she's probably not going to go for it, so it's a pretty good guess to just go for that on reaction. But if you're not playing D'Vorah, a jump back punch can be super good, and if you're Shao Kahn or you're Jade, someone with a crazy good uppercut that hits behind you, you can just uppercut too. Once again, Jacqui has no meter. The most she can do is shrapnel blast, which is a huge risk. So if she does commit to that jump, then chances are you can just snag her out of the air. And then one more thing I wanted to talk about is this knee, because a lot of players don't understand this knee. So this knee is plus on block. Yes, that is true, but there's actually a secret weakness here. So I'm gonna have Jacqui do this knee, and I want you to check this out. Oh, look at that, there's a gap. That knee is not guaranteed. Now Jacqui can do a different string after that. Instead of back 3-4, she can do back 3-2-4, and that will actually catch you trying to punish her, but she won't get very much off of it unless she's expecting it. And if you're one of those characters like D'Vorah who gets a crushing blow for a counter hit or a punish, then that's just a free crushing blow if the Jacqui player keeps abusing that knee. It does give you plus frames if you block it, and she does have other strings that lead to full combos. But if they keep going for that knee, you can tell them no and interrupt it every single time. So in conclusion, this variation is very strong. Now, do I think it should be nerfed? You know, at the competitive scene, maybe a lot of players are starting to switch to it, but she hasn't won too many tournaments, oddly enough, but a lot of players are using her. She is starting to swarm the play. She is kind of like an infestation at the moment. So I certainly do think some subtle nerfs here and there could help a little bit. I just hope they don't nerf her too much, because as one person put in the comments section very well, Jacqui in this variation is a very combo creative character, and she feels like a lot of fun. She feels a bit like MKX. She's just a very interesting character, and it's kind of freeing to see someone with this much pressure and this much mobility. I do think the window on punishing this could be a little bit better to make it a bit more fair, and one more nerf could be to make it to where she can't super jump on block. That might be a bit extreme and may ruin her completely, so maybe not that one, but it's also an option because she wouldn't be quite as crazy on block. Or maybe just make it to where you can't do two of the meter burn ones in the air. That way if the opponent is patient and blocks this shrapnel mix-up, they can still punish it because it's just the regular version, and you can't do two of the meter burn versions in a row, so it's even tougher to keep yourself safe. I think those changes can make this character a lot more balanced. I just don't want to see her nerfed too hard, because like I said in past videos, she had a really cool throw counter in Variation 1, and that was nerfed so hard that you never see it anymore. So I don't want to see this variation nerfed so bad that we never see it, because as it stands, in my opinion, it's quite a spectacle to watch. I understand pro players don't like facing it. I understand, it's an entirely different thing to fight it than it is to watch it. But this variation is just so fresh and so aggressive, it feels completely different from watching other characters, and I do dig that about this variation. And I also do have a soft spot for Jacqui because no one else seems to love her. So for me personally, it's kinda cool to see Jacqui at tournaments so much. But even so, I do think nerfing her a little bit might be a good idea, but please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think upgraded Jacqui is too strong, or do you think she's fine the way she is? Please let me know in the comments, and then while you're down there, go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And finally, why not keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.